Hello, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to hashtag TNT JoeFi, tech news that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. I would normally take this off, but we're going to watch. Well, actually, I don't need to use this right now. Yeah, we'll do that when we get to the video part of it. But happy Monday, everybody. It's a very cold day in Chicago. Actually, it was snowing this morning. It's October 26th, and it was snowing this morning. It was just light snow, but it's too early for this shit. So it didn't even matter. I wasn't even able to go for my walk because I was editing video today because I wanted to do this camera comparison with my Pixel 4a and my new iPhone 12 Pro. I have a few thoughts, but I want to do this live. This is going to be different. It's not normally how I do these camera comparisons, but it'll be a good way to interact. It'll also be a good way to just like kind of give my thoughts instead of just kind of scripting it out like I have in the past. So before we get into all of that though, let me try to set the video up. I just want to make sure we're good for today's stream. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. How was everyone's weekend? Good. I'm hoping. Yes, no, maybe so. Sorry, setting this up here. Let me go ahead and say hi to people in chat. I am not going to be able to get through everything today because there's a lot to talk about when we go through these videos or this video, this camera comparison. But Oskin, what's going on, Oskin? Sorry about your 4A, man. Hopefully you get that figured out. William Maya, hey, what's going on, William? Brian Wu, what's going on, Brian? How's it going, everybody? Hello. Parth Gupta, yo, what's up, Parth? What's up, Javier? Bear in a Gray Matter. Yeah, I haven't seen your message, but I know that you did message me, I think on Facebook, right? I will get to it though. Edgar Hernandez. Hey, everyone. Hey, Jay, what's going on? Edgar, welcome. Mario, welcome. Matthew Williams. Good evening, sir. Looking forward to this. There's a lot to look forward to. We have a lot to talk about. Ahmed, Husamadeen. What up, Jerome? What up, fam? What up, Ahmed? How's it going? Nick Coletti is in here as well. What's going on, Nick? All right, scrolling down here. A total scam. It doesn't surprise me for MagSafe. Doesn't surprise me, but we'll have to touch base on that in the future. Arvils, Corsocks. Am I saying that right? Arvils. Yes, like the stream. If you haven't, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. It is a way to support. I appreciate it. Bernard Chung, shout outs are always so long. Sorry, Bernard. It's what I do, but welcome. Whether you stay or not, welcome. Javon Sims, hey, I'm on time for once. Yes, you are. What's going on, Javon? Big House Productions, hey, everyone, let's get lit. It's too early to get lit, but yeah, let's do it. Javier Prado, wait, I already said it. Oh, you're at the DMV. Brad C, what's up? What's good, Jerome? Back here again, my guy. Glad to have you, Brad. Glad to have you. Sean, what's going on, man? G-Boy888 from Long Beach. What's going on? Jason Lim. Yo, Geronimo and fam. Yo. Hopkins is in here as well. Hello there. Still waiting for the 4A 5G to be available with the pre-order gift. Waiting for it. I just want the 4A 5G. Norman Iglesias, what's going on? Like the stream. Thank you. So, oh, Philly the Kid. What's up, man? Apostle's here too. Hey, man, can't afford either phone, but here I am. Well, it's good. I'm glad to have you guys here so we can go through these photos and videos and figure out, get your opinions on it. Apostle T-Matic Monday with Romy Rome. What's going on, Apostle? Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome. So just real quick before we do get into the video, I want to share this on Sunday. Sunday when I was it? Yeah, it was yesterday when I was doing camera comparisons with the 4A and the iPhone 12 Pro. And for you guys that don't know, the iPhone 12 Pro became my daily driver. So this changed in my front pocket. This became my daily driver in my left front pocket. The 4A was my daily driver for such a long time. I love this phone. And this took its place. Although when I was doing my camera comparison, I forgot because I was so used to putting this in the same pocket that this ended up in the same pocket as my 12 Pro. I have this tweet that I put out yesterday. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, please feel free. You can follow me at Phone Jerome, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. But I wrote here, I said, when you've been putting the 4A in your daily driver front pocket for so long, you forget the 12 Pro recently took its place and decided to use its camera bump to F up its day. RIP Pixel 4A. So if you look here, you'll see this is a deep scratch on my Pixel 4A, which it's just unfortunate. What ended up happening is while my 12 Pro was in my pocket like this, the 4A got stacked right on top of it, and this camera bump scratched up the 4A. Sucks. Didn't expect that to happen, but it is what it is. So anyway, nothing I can do about it. People can say, buy a case, get a screen protector, but I don't do that shit. I just don't care for it much. So anyway, wrong screen. With that being said, let's get into this video. Typically, I have much higher production videos when it comes to doing camera comparisons, but I figure we'll do this live. I put the video together. I just didn't put like an overlay of me talking. I didn't put music. I did like a little sound effects just to like kind of give you that example of how it used to be. But we're going to start here. This is a shot of the 4A. And actually, I'll put this on just so I can hear the camera shutter as we play it. So the 4A here, the iPhone 12 Pro there. I mean, do you see that difference already from the beginning? 4A, 12 Pro. And then I have a side-by-side right here. So we're gonna pause it right here. Well, didn't mean to zoom in yet. That's just part of that. So the first thing I noticed is the 12 Pro shoots. There is the 12 Pro. The people who are working on the iPhones looks like they've decided to really kind of like turn up the contrast, turn up the color. This is not really indicative of the actual real world results. This is a warmer shot. When I say warmer, it's a bit more yellow. It's not typically the more natural looking shot. Jason Lim with a $5 super chat, a moment of silence for the 4A screen. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. That helps my 4A. I'll put that money towards its funeral. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. All right. So as we talk about this, you can see here that both of them still are really good looking shots. They're good looking shots, but the 12 Pro is obviously the more like pops of color, like the greens and the yellows here seem to pop out more than what you're seeing on the Pixel 4a. But in no means does the Pixel 4a look bad. If anything, the 4a looks more realistic than what the 12 Pro is showing. So this continues on because the one thing I like to do, especially when it comes to day shots, because both of these shots turned out really good. But when it comes to day shots, I kind of have to pixel peep and I kind of have to like crop in and actually see if there are any big differences to point out here. So one of the differences here, and you can see the color of the tree, this is a little darker. This either maybe on the yellow, I don't even know. It's weird that this is the warmer shot, but this tree isn't as, like, this is just more brown of a tree, I guess. If you're looking at the lettering here, this lettering looks pretty similar. Like it doesn't, they look pretty good in terms of like quality, detail. But here's the thing, and I'm going to take myself off screen here, but I'm just going to point it out with my arrow here. If you look at, let me get that out of there. Well, I can't because of the, if you look down here, it's kind of faded in, but this license plate is a lot more legible than the license plate here on the 12 Pro. The writing here looks even more legible than what's here. This I still can't read out, but this still looks better. You can even see here in the trees, this looks like there is more detail over here than what I'm seeing here. Is it by a lot? No, it isn't, but it's noticeable. It's definitely noticeable when you start to pixel peep. This is a $350 phone right here, everybody. This Pixel 4a is a $350 phone. This iPhone 12 Pro is a $1,000 phone. There's another zoom in that I put in here, which is right here. Same shot, just another zoomed in, cropped in version. You'll see that detail looks pretty good again for both. But even if you're looking at this street, there you go. Even if you're looking at this street sign over here compared to what you're seeing here on the iPhone 12 Pro, I can actually read this. Let me do this if that helps you guys. This says Greenview, right? Yeah, it says Greenview. I can't point that out here. I cannot point that out on this iPhone 12 Pro. That's kind of surprising for me. Even here in the trees, this looks like the leaves are a little more detailed while this one's a little more muddled. The 12 Pro might be a little brighter in terms of its shot, but this looks like there's more detail here than what I'm seeing here. It's quite surprising. It's really not what I expected, at least from this first set of shots. So looking at the 4a and the 12 Pro, yeah, the 12 Pro might be warmer if you like that, but the 4a, I like the shot on the 4a overall better in this set of shots. So let's go ahead and let's continue to the next set. Nothing really special here. It's a weird plumbing kind of deal. I just love how they showcase the toilet. So for just an FYI, if any of you are wondering about how I took these shots, everything was handheld. Everything was just like, kept it as steady as possible. I would occasionally tap to focus, but really that's about it. No tripod, nothing here, even the night shots. But when we go into video, I'll talk about that in a second. So let's see them side by side. So there is a little bit of a difference here. If you look at the 4a on the left and the 12 Pro on the right, the 4A is actually keeping a bit of the highlights in the actual neon sign. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how you can see the actual, like, the neon coming into the letters where it's not even really showing here? It actually came out a little weird how that happened. Otherwise, everything else looks pretty similar. The shot, good detail or whatever, but this lighting is off. It's like it took the highlights out, which is something that the 4A actually does, or the Pixels do at night. Anyway, I'm gonna have to say, like, even though both are good, I do prefer the more realistic, you know, shot here on the 4A. I wasn't going to crop anything in. There wasn't much to go over when it came to this, so we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so between both of these shots, it's actually a little interesting too, because now it looks like the 12 Pro. So the one thing I've noticed is the 12 Pro, and even from other camera comparisons that I've seen from other people, it looks like this year the iPhone is trying to brighten everything up, give it a little, like, just a brighter shot with more contrast. And I'm not saying that more contrast is a bad thing. I actually, when I edit my photos, I like to give it a little more contrast, but I don't know if it's going, if it's crossing the line of being a little too much. But it's still a very pleasing shot. You know, when you compare both of these here, you can see this yellow looks a little more brighter. The shot overall is a little more brighter. The clouds in the sky, this looks a little cooler. This is more on the blue side, even though the earlier shots came warm. So yesterday when I was shooting, it was entirely like an overcast day. It wasn't like there were no blue skies. The sun wasn't out. It was overcast the entire day. I mean, I can't control the weather. It's all I got. That's the only time I was able to do this camera comparison. But otherwise, both of these did come out really well. They came out really well to the point where I'm just like, okay, well, let's go ahead and let's kind of zoom in into some of these spots. So from here, if you're looking at it, they both, again, look really, really close in terms of detail and quality, to the point that you really can't distinguish. Like, this is more just like, well, what looks better to you? And the yellow on the 12 Pro does look a little brighter. The whites look a little brighter. If anything, there might be a little more detail on the 12 Pro, but that's so, it's like you're really nitpicking at this point. There is a second shot though. And I took it where it was like where the sign was here, where it said Northside Dental. You'll see Northside Dental on both. That looks pretty similar, but the shot here on the 12 Pro, these trees look really soft here compared to the detail that you're finding on the 4A. The branches and everything just look a lot more clear. There's more clarity as opposed to the softness that you're finding on the 12 Pro here. All right, moving on to the next set. 4A, 12 Pro, again, you can see a brighter shot overall. And again, they're both very similar, except the 12 Pro looks brighter. The 12 Pro looks like it leans on the warmer yellow side, but otherwise they both come out really good. If I didn't put a label on either of these phones, and if I didn't tell you which was which, I think most people would prefer either one, except the 4A is a $350 phone. The iPhone 12 Pro is a $1,000 phone. I did do a few crops on here as well, so we'll get into that. So you can see here in this crop, the 12 Pro has much like deeper blacks, and that might be like an uptick on the contrast. It might be the 4A trying to like push the shadows out a little more. I do prefer the darker blacks on the 12 Pro, but really it's not the biggest deal in the world. But you can even see things like right here. You can see like the difference in the black here, which it's not really as apparent. And I think it's either because they've lifted the shadows, but even this white looks a little cool. Like this looks more, you know, like punchy whites, like bright whites, as to what you're seeing on the 4A. And then in this part of the crop pick, though, you'll see again, this tree up here is a lot softer in detail than what you're seeing on the 4A. This street cleaning sign here on the left, this red looks, these reds are different, but the clarity in the text looks better here. And then you'll see it all throughout here as well. It's not everything, but and I guess in a lot of ways, most people aren't looking for those like small, minute details in the background, but like it wouldn't be fair of me to not compare and at least give you an idea of how these phones are comparing. It was weird because as I was doing this, it was kind of blowing my mind because I'm like, this $350 phone, and yes, it's not just all about the camera, but for people who prioritize the camera, you're getting one hell of a deal on a 4A. You're definitely getting one hell of a deal on a 4A. All right, so sorry, let me go into here. This one's a little different, but in this shot with the 4A and in this shot with the 12 Pro, you'll see that like the whites are a little different. It's nothing like crazy. If anything, this 12 Pro does look like it leans on the cool end, which is a little weird. But in terms of detail and like color quality, it doesn't look bad at all. The one thing that I wanted to point out here is the fact that the 12 Pro is capable of an ultra wide shot. That's the only reason I took this, because if you looked at the earlier shots, I couldn't get the full view of it. I just want to give people an idea of what the 4A looks like, because I was standing in the same spot, just an FYI. This is the exact same spot. I didn't move my feet. The 12 Pro is capable of a wider shot if that's what you're looking for. But otherwise, as far as like a lot of these day shots that I took, a lot of these are very, very comparable, to the point where if you're looking for just a reliable main shooter, at least in a lot of these day shots, you're going to get a pretty good camera out of the 4A. But I think a lot of us knew that. I think a lot of us, well, me, I was kind of expecting something just like crazy coming from the iPhone 12 Pro. I was expecting a camera that was just going to like, I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting more, at least here. So like, yes, these are just a sample set of shots. These aren't all the shots in the world, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to delve into night shots. Brian with the $1 super chat. Brian, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you guys for coming in here. Appreciate you guys stopping by. If you guys haven't had a chance, please hit that thumbs up. It does help support me in what I do. Brian, thank you for the support as always. For people that don't know, I do stream weekdays at 2 p.m. Central. So if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you know when I start streaming. Anyway, we're going to go ahead. For people who just missed all the day shots, I'm sorry, but we're about to delve into night shots at this point. So here we go. All right. So this 4A, just an FYI for people who need to know, well, everything was taken with night sight for the 4A. Night shot with the iPhone if it allowed it. Otherwise, on the iPhone, on the 12 Pro, it's just a matter of like hitting the shutter and it will either use night mode or just take it depending on the light. So this is a little weird though, because this night shot with night sight on the Pixel 4A, it was much darker than this, much, much darker. And the 4A really took its time to brighten up this shot at night. But the 12 Pro did pretty much the same thing. I think a lot of this has to do with the street light. But like in real life, when I took this shot, it was much, much darker. Here's the thing though, looking at both of these shots, they both look very similar. These were both taken handheld, right? There wasn't like, I didn't have a tripod. I just like stopped, took the shot, and went along my way. Both of these shots look really good. If anything, the 12 Pro maybe has a hint more clarity than the 4A. And when I say that, I just mean I see a little haze over here on the top left, but it's nothing to be concerned about. I think they're both very comparable in terms of shots. So here's a zoomed in crop pic, right? So this is more of a, just to like nitpick and pixel peep, but you can see the 12 Pro has less grain. They both have grain. They both have noise in the actual shot itself, but the 12 Pro looks to be a little more clear. Not by a lot. It looks like it has deeper blacks. It looks like the colors are a little more just, they pop out a little more, but they're still comparable. The 4A though, you could tell it's starting to look like it's getting a little washed out, a little more background noise, especially over here on the top compared to what you're seeing here. Like I can at least even see the numbers on the door here. This you're not seeing here at all on the 4A. And then another zoomed in part right here. And I took this just to see like if you look at the bottom where it has the numbers 4733, you can see the for rent sign. You can see the reds are a little different, but the clarity is pretty much similar for both. Like looking at it right now, I mean, they both have, again, a good amount of background noise, a good amount of like grain, but they're pretty comparable for night shots, at least for this set that we have here. And then moving on to the next set, let me get here. So just an FYI, I need to point out, I also see the super chat. Jesus, Alan Johnson, give me 1 second. Just in terms of these night shots, I'm going to go over it. Actually, you know what? Let me just take a second. Alan Johnson with a $20 super chat. Alan, thank you so much, man. Thank you for the support. Have always been a big fan of your channel. Keep up the great work, sir. Alan Johnson, thank you. I don't know if I've seen you in here before or even like said hi, but for you to even drop a 20, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. For everybody who's in here, I appreciate the support. I appreciate longtime fans who have been watching me for quite a while. I know what I've been doing lately is a little different, but this is a way to kind of like still do my camera comparisons, but not put 16, 18 hours work of it or into it, but still do a good enough quality job to like share this with you. So Alan, thank you, man. Thank you so much. All right. So moving on here, if you look at this Pixel 4a, if you look at this light right here, I tapped to focus right here. This shot could have been brighter, but I wanted to make sure that this did not get overexposed. Also, I pass by this house almost daily on my walks, and they actually decorated it so it's a Halloween theme. But even when it's not Halloween, they have these dolls here that are not dressed up in costume, and it's the creepiest shit ever. Anyway, let's take a look and see how the iPhone 12 Pro turned out with that. You can tell they're a lot different. So if you look at both of these shots, these were both tap to focus right here at this light, so it wouldn't overexpose. You'll see that the 12 Pro overexposes just a tad here. You'll see that overexposure just a little bit. You can see at the bottom here, right? These string of lights, these are they're separated enough that you know that they're single lights. This 12 Pro looks like it's just a string, but the trade-off here on this 12 Pro is the fact that if you look at this shot, you can see almost everything around it. The yellow in the lights is a little different. It's warmer on the 4A, but you can see like the actual greens in the shot itself. You can see the leaves like wrapped around the fence. You can see the green of the plants or whatever, like the tree above the awning, below the window. You can see more there. Again, my focus though was what was inside the window. So let's go ahead and let's zoom in, and you'll see, you can see again at the very bottom where the string of lights are, you'll see that you can pick apart the, I see somebody saying paid review. Dude, nobody pays me. If you think I'm getting paid, you can fuck off, because like I don't get paid for what I do at all. So anyway, sorry. I hate when people think that I'm either getting paid or I'm being biased. If there is one YouTuber, if there's one tech YouTuber in this world who is unbiased, it's me. I might be biased towards Google because I appreciate Google and I appreciate Pixel phones, but like, no, I just call it how I see it. So Again, I might be reading that out of context, but like nothing kind of rages me more than when people think I'm doing this shit. Like nobody pays me to do this shit. I buy these phones. No, Google doesn't give me free phones. Apple doesn't give me free phones. I do this under my own time, and I edited this video under my own time. So anyway, continuing on. If you look at this shot, you'll see that the 4A at the bottom, you'll see you could pick apart the individual lights. There is a bit of shakiness, right? There is a bit of shakiness here because, well, either I was holding it handheld, but at least you can separate that from what you see on the iPhone 12 Pro. You can also see the light above. The actual like living room light or whatever is not blown out on the 4A while it is on the 12 Pro. The 12 Pro, though, is the brighter shot. You can see the faces better, but I guess it really depends on what you're looking for in the shot here. I still think both, they come out pretty good. It is weird, though. Like you see, so like if your main focus, though, was making sure that you saw all of this, the 12 Pro is going to give you the better shot. This color here looks so much different than what you're seeing on the 12 Pro. You don't see like this looks pink. This is orange. I don't know. I can't remember if I was looking at orange or pink when I took this shot, but I'd imagine it was a Halloween thing. I'd imagine it was probably supposed to be orange, but I could be wrong. Okay, moving on. People have their Halloween lights up. Okay, so I'm gonna like go through that set of shots again. If you look at this Pixel 4a and then you see the 12 Pro, there is a huge difference in quality there. There is so much more clarity in this 12 Pro than there is on the Pixel 4a. I think almost all the pictures we've seen so far have been pretty comparable, but this is the first time that I'm actually seeing a huge difference in clarity here. So if you compare both of these, you can see like deeper blacks on the 12 Pro, while either the 4A has just like a haze throughout it, or the shadows are being pushed up, but the colors don't even, they're a bit off. The colors don't look as good as what you're seeing on the 12 Pro. Again, this is the first time I'm seeing this on the 12 Pro where it looks like a much more clearer shot here. I don't think I did any zooming in on any of this because I think just seeing these two pictures apart really just, that's all you need to see here. You can see on the top left of this Pixel 4a, the colors are just, it's not right. This isn't the color that's here. This is more of the realistic color that you're seeing here. This, I don't even know what this color is. This is like, I mean, this is a brownish, reddish brick at night or during any time of the day. But over here, this just, I don't know. It doesn't look right. It looks a little off there. Okay, moving on. So those are two completely different shots as well. The 12 Pro is a much brighter shot. I don't know if the train passing by had anything to do with it, but I'm assuming it really doesn't make that much of a sense, or it doesn't make that much of a difference. But the 12 Pro is a much brighter shot, but it also looks like it looks like it's very sharpened in general. The 4A, obviously the darker shot, still not bad. Maybe there's a bit of haze to it, but the 12 Pro is obviously the more detailed shot, the shot that has a little more clarity to it. Not as much as the last set that we saw here, but I just wish the 12 Pro would have dialed down the brightness just a tad. The 4A, it looks like it's struggling a little bit. I don't know. So the thing that I kind of like to talk about is I don't like shots that look too bright at night because I feel like you take away from what it actually is supposed to look like. I get that you're trying to maybe focus on a specific thing and you need the brightest shot possible. And I guess if that was the use case, then that makes more sense. But for someone like me, I want to make sure a dark shot still looks dark. Like this looks like it's just a tad bit too bright here. So, okay, moving on to the next shot. Again, two different shots. So just an FYI, I tapped to focus on this Miller light sign, and it was just to make sure that not everything got overexposed. But you can see that this 12 Pro is just capable of like kind of keeping everything, I guess, brighter, more detail. And the 4A again kind of has like a weird haze to it. Actually, Outplayed I'm seeing here is saying purple. So yeah, purple, that's the color I was going for. There is a bit of a purple haze. Yeah, Outplay. What's going on, man? It says purple haze again. And so like looking at both of these shots, you know, if you had to pick one, like in this instance, I would be picking the 12 Pro here. Just looks like the better shot. I do have to point out though, if you look at this liquor sign here, right? You see this liquor sign? You can tell if you look at the Pixel 4a, it's at least letting you know that this O that's up here, the letter O here is not as bright as the rest of the letters here. And that's because that letter O has been out for quite some time. I pass by this all the time and you could tell that this is out. But here, so look at what Apple's doing with their iPhone. Even though that this has a different light intensity, it looks exactly the same as the rest. It's as if they dialed this up just to make sure that everything stayed bright. That's what it looks like to me. And that's something I wish they didn't do. I wish they would still show the different kind of light intensity that I'm seeing here on the 4A as compared to what the iPhone 12 Pro is showing. Otherwise, everything else looks good. This Miller light sign, it looks like it's a little more in tune to the color, I guess, but not so much. I'm just trying to like see if there's any other redeeming qualities out of this shot for the 4A. I mean, it's able to make sure to keep from overexposing. It's just everything else is a bit darker where you can see more detail on the 12 Pro here. Okay. I don't know if, okay, this is the last set of night shots. So 4A and 12 Pro, and again, kind of a similar comparison. So you'll see that the 12 Pro, again, is leaning on a warmer tone here. The 4A, at least to me, looks more on the natural side, but I don't know. I would have to be there again. So both of these shots, though, have a bit of background noise. You'll see it here in the sky. You'll see that the 4A is able to maintain from overexposing as it does on the 12, or while the 12 Pro, you know, kind of overexposes just a little bit. You'll see that up here as well. And that's something that I've noticed on a lot of the 12 Pro shots, is it's really trying so hard to push up its light. It's trying to make things brighter. And I guess it's not bad if that's really what you're looking for. But like in this instance, in this set of shots here, I actually prefer the 4A. I like the fact that it's not overexposing over here. And even though it's darker on this bottom end, and yeah, there is quite a bit of noise, but there is noise here too. I like the fact that this was the focal point here, not the ground here, not everything else around it. But this one is kind of a toss up for me. But also at the end of the day, like I said, for people who are not aware, the Pixel 4a is a $350 phone, and we're comparing it to a $1,000 iPhone 12 Pro. I know that phones are not just about cameras, but like I said earlier, if you prioritize the camera, the Pixel 4a is a great bang for your buck. This camera comparison is not over yet. I just wanted to take the time to do some day shots, to do some night shots, and then we're gonna get into video. But I wish I could go through all the chat right now. I know there's a lot of people in here, and maybe a little later if we have time. I don't know if we will, but this is an 11-minute video and we're only 2 minutes into it. So I think video is next. I'm going to actually get myself out of this shot so you guys can compare for yourselves, and I'll chime in where I can. So we're going to get into video really quick. Actually, I might as well just mention this. Again, if you haven't had a chance, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. It is a way to support. If you like this video, whatever, hit the thumbs up. If you don't, well, whatever, fuck off. I do stream weekdays at 2 p.m. Central, so feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification to let you know when I am streaming. And really quick, if I got to plug it since we're here, since we're like in intermission. If you've noticed people in the chat with green in their name, a red Chicago star next to their name, that's because they're part of the Phone Jerome fam, and you could be one too for as little as 99 cents a month. All you got to do is click the blue join button. You get the red Chicago star next to your name. You'll get to use custom emoji. You'll get your name in every intro and outro of my live streams, although I haven't been able to do that recently because I just haven't had time. Otherwise, again, you get those perks. You get access to my private Discord. If you can't find that blue join button, you can go to youtube.com/Phone Jerome/join. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead. We're going to continue to get into the next part of this video, which is the video portion of the Pixel 4a and my gold iPhone 12 Pro. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to get myself out of here so you can watch this video part. Okay, so I got to chime in. And I know I say it in the video, but pay attention to things like audio, pay attention to the colors in the video, pay attention to video stabilization. I say that many times. I say it almost every time when I record because one, it's a way to test the audio, but like even from the start here, the colors look very similar. The audio sounds very similar. The stabilization even looks very similar. I think some of those will be apparent later on, but so far, again, like the 4A is very impressive for what it can do at its price point. All right, let's continue on with this. All right, so I got my mask on, so if this sounds muffled, that's why. On the left here, I have the Pixel 4a. On the right, the iPhone 12 Pro. Both are recording, I think. I gotta double check. 1080p, 30 frames a second, I believe. I'll do 4K testing later. It's not something I'm too concerned about right now. Just want to see how video quality is between both of these phones, obviously. Okay, so real quick, yes. 1080p, 30 frames per second. I will do a 4K video test sometime this week, hopefully. I have so much on my plate. I just wanted to like get this out, give you guys a good idea of what this would look like at 1080p. So I know not everybody records in that kind of like format, but I do. I even with my DSLR, I still record at 1080p, and I usually won't even do 30 frames. I'll do 23 or 24, whatever. But like even looking at this, like if you look at both of these shots, you can see this 12 Pro is brighter. Again, the iPhone 12 Pro, Apple decided to really like push up that brightness, and maybe in a way where it might be just a little too much. It's not bad by any means, but I don't know. It's something that like is just like, hey, like you can turn that a notch down, just a notch down. Otherwise, like the 12 Pro looks like it has better stabilization, but maybe just a little, at least here. And in audio, I think the 4A might sound just a little bit better, but they both sound very comparable. They still both sound very comparable. All right. At $350. The iPhone 11 Pro, the iPhone 12 Pro at $1,000. It's Sunday morning, 10 a.m. the 25th of October, and it's pretty cold today. Don't want to like film people who don't want to be filmed because I know how annoying that can be. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna flip both of these so we can do like front facing camera video testing and go from there. My mic was muted. I'm sorry. All right. Before we get into the front facing part, I do want to like just let you know that I edited all of this right before the stream started. So I haven't even really had a chance to go through everything. But like even watching the very last part of the 4A there, even though the stabilization was good, at least from what I've been seeing, that 12 Pro looks better. It doesn't judder as much. The stabilization looks a little more solid in the 12 Pro compared to the 4A, but the 4A isn't a slouch. And I actually, just an FYI, so like it wasn't when I do these tests, it's not like I'm holding, let me get this shit out of the way here. When I do these tests, it's not like I hold both of the phones like this. That's not how I do it. Actually, let me go grab that real quick. So I use a device. I use like a Joby Gorilla Pod like this, and it has two attachments. Like I took this one off because I was doing some other testing, but I hold both phones this way. And so everything like at least has some kind of stability. So you can imagine, like, even if there was like some judder or whatever during video stabilization, imagine that it would probably even be worse if I was just using my hands. So like when I do these video tests, that's just me walking around. It's not like it's on any kind of like, I mean, yes, it's using that tripod or whatever, but most people who are going to be using it in everyday scenarios might just be holding their phone like this or whatever. Just keep that in mind. I just want to make sure that I'm transparent with you guys so you know how I perform these tests. All right. So this next set here, I flip the cameras around. Again, pay attention to things like color, audio, stabilization, and I probably said it a few times in these videos anyway, so let's go ahead and watch this. Okay, so on the left, or however this works, Pixel 4a, right, iPhone 12 Pro. Pay attention to audio, pay attention to video stabilization, take a look at color. What else are we paying attention to? Pay attention to the fog on my glasses, because that's the most annoying thing about wearing a mask, is getting my glasses fogged up. Listen to the audio, see which one sounds better. Like I'm looking at both of them. Right now the 4A looks like the darker shot. The 12 Pro looks brighter, but it's hard to tell just looking at the phones this way. Again, it's like an overcast day. I probably look like an idiot walking around, but it's early enough and there's not that many people out right now. So I'm doing it at the time of day where I feel somewhat comfortable. Okay, that's it for the front video test. We'll move on to other stuff. I got to do night shots later tonight. If it doesn't rain, we'll see. Okay, bye. Okay, I'm looking at comments as well. So I forgot about that too, Dougie. It's hard to judge because I'm streaming in 720p. That's fair enough point too. I guess I would have to do that to 1080. I know I have that option. I just worry about bandwidth and making sure that the stream stays consistent or at least quality wise. But I still think you can get a good idea of what these look like regardless. And then somebody was saying something. Oh, Robert was. Hey, Robert, what's going on? Turn off HDR video on iPhone. Turns off that Dolby video. So how much of an impact would that have? That's something I would have to take a look at as well. But I appreciate you pointing it out. So I'll have to remember that for the next time I do a little, or the next time I do this comparison. So the one thing I do want to point out though is like, if you look, I mean, regardless of 720 or 1080 or whatever, is like we can't not see the difference in colors here. The skin color here, I I feel like this is my more natural skin color as opposed to what's here. Again, it looks like the 12 Pro leans on a warmer kind of tone, at least from what I'm seeing here. In terms of like stabilization, in terms of video stabilization on the 4A, that looks pretty goddamn good too, especially when you compare it to the iPhone 12 Pro. I didn't watch it and look at it, at least the front camera here. I didn't look at the 4A and said, man, that's really falling behind. To me, it looked pretty good. Audio seemed pretty good on both. It seems like the 4A, whether or not the camera is faced this way or this way, it sounds like the audio is still a little louder on the 4A, which is, it's nice to see. It's nice to hear. I think that's really all I have to share in terms of that. Otherwise, like everything does look pretty good. The 12 Pro, again, like the skin color, just everything looks like it's on a yellow, like a yellowish hue or a yellowish tone. So we are now going to flip into the video portion at night for the 4A and the 12 Pro. You guys let me know your thoughts. I'll try to like get into chat when I can here, but let's flip into that. Other stuff. I got to do night shots later in the rain. We'll see. Okay, bye. All right, so we're testing video. Sorry, I got my mask on, so my voice is all muffled or whatever. But I got the Pixel 4a on the left. I got the iPhone 12 Pro on the right. I mean, it's night, but there's a lot of light. I mean, this light here is a white light, but most of the lights down Lincoln Ave here are on the amber side. The orange kind of light. It is Sunday evening, 7 p.m. It's pretty quiet. I mean, ever since COVID, everything's been pretty quiet in general. What I might do is go down a quieter street where it might be darker. But again, pay attention to things like video stabilization, color, the audio in general. We're just going to go down a quieter street here. All right, so real quick, I see Bert Kuhn with a $5 super chat. Bert, thank you so much, as always, man, for supporting as regularly as you do. I do appreciate it, Bert. How do you like the 12 Pro in terms of a daily driver? I really enjoy the 12 for some reason, and the apps I use regular seems better on the iPhone. So I'm pretty happy with the 12 Pro. I like it. I mean, it's not really as different as my 11 Pro, but it does seem to be maybe a little smoother. I mean, obviously the feel of the phone is different because it's flat edges instead of like, you know, what my 11 Pro has. I haven't really like deep dived into it. I did notice that there's an issue with Instagram. Hopefully they fix that. Every time I try to post a story, it like throws some like ridiculous filter and I can't remove it. But yeah, anyway, Bert Kuhn, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you for the support as always. Appreciate it so much. So, okay, guys, Team Rye, the Blair Jerome project. I know I'm kind of all over the place. So looking at both of these, again, I look at it, the 12 Pro is on a very like, it's like having amber lights on the street, I think even accentuates more so how warm a lot of these shots are coming out. But it does look like the 12 Pro, at least in some instances here, has better video stabilization, but the 4A is still handling night shots. It's not bad, right? It's not bad. I don't think it's like, I don't look at the 4A and say, man, it's really falling behind. It can't keep up to the 12 Pro. They do look pretty comparable. I am not, again, I'm just walking around with both of these phones. Like, I mean, I have it on that like tripod I showed you, but it's not on a gimbal. It's not on any, it's just, you know, I'm giving it a little more stability. So things are kind of like even with each other. Otherwise, so far, I haven't noticed anything crazy in terms of a lot of the quality between both of these phones. Not a quieter street, but a street with a little more darkness. So looking at both of the phones, the iPhone 12 Pro looks brighter, but honestly, it's not. It might just be the display and not the actual output. So it's pretty dark over here. God, it's cold. That alleyway's closed. That alleyway's open. I'd go down there, but there's a guy there, and I have no idea like what's up with that. All right, let me cross over here. Okay, let me pause this real quick. Let me just like, I see Ernie saying, oh, Javon says way better audio quality on the Pixel. So that's something I noticed too. The quality for audio just seems better on the 4A. A bit louder. Yeah, I had my mask on, but I do take it off just a little after this. So maybe if people are thinking that's an issue, that you can at least like hear that and decide for yourselves. Ernie though asked, hey Ernie, how's it going, man? Welcome. Any overheating issues on the 4A while doing video? So nothing. I wasn't recording in 4K though. So if I record in 4K, when I record in 4K, we'll go over it then, but I didn't experience any kind of overheating issues there. Let me see here. Yeah, so Dougie's saying sounds from the Pixel 4A like the person stands next to you, and then says compared to the 12 Pro, it's like 3 feet away. It's a little surprising. I'm a little surprised by it too. Okay, let's kind of continue on. We're gonna like finish this off, and then I'll get into chat. We'll talk a little bit and go from there. So let me mute myself and switch back. All right, no one's around, so let me pull my mask off. So this is pretty dark. I mean, there is lighting from like the street lights that are over here. You hear the train going by. All right, we'll swing back around. Just wanted to show you what it looked like in a darker scenario. So again, listen to the audio, pay attention to video stabilization. I'm walking at I'd say a little faster than normal pace because it is cold and I want to go back to my apartment. Just figured I would come out since it's dark now and show you the $350 4A versus the $1,000 iPhone 12 Pro. Well, that alley, people are still there, so I'm not gonna mess around there. Okay, so on the left here, Pixel 4A. Just an FYI, this is obviously transitioned now to the front-facing cameras at night for the 4A and 12 Pro. I'm just gonna let this play out. There is one part where I am just like not saying anything. Like it was like I was trying to talk, and then somebody was looking at me. Somebody was looking at me through the glass window and was probably like, "What are you doing?" And then it like threw my whole like whatever I wanted to say off. But you'll see it. You'll see it. Just in case you're like, why is Jerome just staring and not saying anything? That's why. Because like somebody was like literally staring at me, wondering what I was doing in front of the. Okay. Anyway. The right iPhone 12 Pro using the front camera this time. So again, pay attention to things like volume, video stabilization. This is right behind me here. This is street art. I feel weird because like there are people around and I'm just like, anyway, foggy glasses. Take a look at oh, actually, if you look at that, so on the iPhone 12, I mean, at least from what I'm seeing, it looks a lot better than the 4A, but again, it could be the display and it could be overexposing differently than what it actually outputs once I export it through. All right. What I should do is walk down a darker area just so you can see. All right, it's darker over here. And then after this, I'm going back to my apartment, which is, well, luckily it's close enough because it's near the train, quite noisy. Darker here now. So like this is a dark, like not an alleyway, but apartment complex or whatever. How does that look though on the 4A? Still worth $350? Are you better off spending $1,000 on the 12 Pro? Obviously, there are other things than just like this. Like the 4A doesn't have a wide angle lens. The 4A doesn't have a telephoto. And I'm not gonna go through those modes right now. Just, keep that stuff in mind. All right, that's it. That's it. What do you guys think? I'm pleasantly surprised with the 4A. The 4A isn't perfect. I mean, the 12 Pro isn't perfect either, but I feel like the 4A at $350 is able to keep up with what the 12 Pro offers today in 2020 with the latest and greatest. Now, I know the 12 Pro Max is supposed to be the phone that has X% more light, has sensor shift OIS, or however all that works using DSLR technology. I honestly don't know the science behind it. I haven't had a chance to even really like go into that. But, there was a part of the video where I was in front of that like pink neon sign, the Baker Miller sign, and the 4A was overexposing versus the 12 Pro. I don't need these anymore. So there are instances where the 12 Pro will shine. There are instances though where the 4A looks like it's dealing with some things a little better than the 12 Pro. Surprisingly, both for not just the main shooter, but also the front camera, which is like, I was just like, how it made me, I'll say it this way. It made me, Chris says Jerome runs Chicago. He isn't getting mugged. Just one thing, Chris, I've been mugged before. So I wish I ran Chicago, but I don't. So yeah, really what I was trying to point out is after buying this 12 Pro, I like the 12 Pro. Is it worth $1,000? I think that depends. If you're a person who buys a phone every year, it's definitely not worth $1,000. But if you haven't bought a phone in like 5-6 years and you're in Apple's ecosystem and you are planning to keep a phone for 3, 4, 5 years, that $1,000 investment might be a good investment, because the iPhone 12 Pro still does a lot of great things. And in a lot of ways, it improves. Well, I don't know if it really improves on the 11 Pro. I'm going to have to test that out. Maybe that's what I'll do today. I don't even know if I'm going to have a chance to do camera comparison stuff tonight for tomorrow. It's just, I have so much going on, but I'm very impressed with the 4A. It's not, I don't think it's outright better than the 12 Pro, but it hangs in there for what it is. It definitely hangs in there. Anyway, I think that's really all I have when it comes to a lot of that. Yeah, Hopkins. How's it going, Hopkins? The 4A is a perfect balance when it comes to price to performance ratio. Robert says, like you say, if camera is your biggest reason for a phone, no way you can justify $650 more for an iPhone over the 4A. Yeah, exactly. Durav, how's it going? Wish the 4A has a wide angle. I mean, I guess that's what the 4A 5G is for. I mean, unless you're not able to get a 4A 5G where you're at. Fazil says, to be very honest, the iPhone does well during night. It does. And so like some of the shots that I took where like the picture quality was just, you could tell it was completely different. I was like, man, you got to give it to the iPhone there, but it didn't happen in every shot. Again, these are only a few shots that I've taken. I'm going to have to do more testing. It's something I like doing. And this is actually a lot more manageable for me to do it this way than do an actual like full video production edit, because it just takes so much time. And I can't even sit here and discuss with you guys, and I can't even point out other things that I might not have to point out. The Woo, what's going on? The Woo for A is like the cinnamon. It's like cinnamon at the club. Best bang. The Woo, always on point. Always on point. Anthony Scalisi, how's it going? It's really amazing what Google can do with a 3-year-old camera sensor. Can't wait to see what they can do when they finally upgrade it. Me neither. Can't wait to see what they can do. Yeah, curious on the video comparison with the Pixel 5. I'll be getting my Pixel 5 on Thursday. I probably won't be able to do a full comparison until like maybe over the weekend, but I'm looking forward to that as well. That'll be one of my favorite things to be testing, is the Pixel 5 versus the iPhone 12 Pro, and then go from there. Igor, did the live stream time change? No, we're always on time. Well, not always on time, but around 2:15 p.m. Central, whatever time that is for you. I don't know exactly, but 3:15 p.m. Eastern, 12:15 p.m. Pacific. Anyway, if any of you missed this, please, like, that's what Replay Squad is for. But Igor, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Terrence says, wide angle lens on the iPhone had poor quality, I feel. However, I'm looking forward to seeing how the wide lens is going to compare to the Pixel 5. Will the Pixel 5 have a better wide angle ultra wide than the iPhone 12 Pro? Saeed, share your thoughts on the Huawei Mate P40 Pro. I mean, it looks like it has good hardware. I don't know much about it. Like I can't even, like, I have this Huawei P40 Pro Plus here that I should really, now that I have the iPhone 12 Pro, I should make it go up against this, the Huawei P40 Pro Plus, and really give you guys a glimpse of the camera and how good that camera is. Team Verizon says, Jerome, I think we had daylight savings here in the UK. Oh, so maybe the time is, oh, yeah, there was no day. We don't have daylight savings here yet. I don't know when that's coming here. I forget what day daylight savings is, but that's probably why. Sorry, Igor. Hopefully you get to watch the replay though. Piotr, how's it going? Great comparison as always. You should include indoor shoots as well, good and low light. I should. I just haven't had time. That's actually a really good idea. I was going to do it last night, but I was so tired last night, and then I just fell asleep, and I woke up at like 7:30 this morning, and I'm like, shit, I got to get ready for work and then do all this, and it's been a very long day. So Igor says, you guys don't have a time change. We do have a time change for daylight savings. I just don't know when it is. I didn't realize it's different in the UK than it is for the US. I thought they were the same days, but I guess not. I don't know. The Woo says, any blurry shots due to movement of any objects? I didn't have a chance to even test that out, but that's not a bad idea. I mean, the train was a little blurry on my 4A at night, but like that's all I really had. So November 2nd time change. Thank you, Brian Wu. Thank you, Brian Wu. Okay, guys, that should be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. I hope it gave you some ideas on how both of these phones compare to each other. I'm going to try to work on another video tonight to maybe have for tomorrow. Otherwise, tomorrow might just be another news day. It just depends on how busy I am. But again, if you guys haven't had a chance, hit that thumbs up. It's a great way to support. I do appreciate the support. I want to thank everybody today, though, with the super chats, with that $20 drop as well. Thank you so much. And for everybody else, please don't think that like your support is not appreciated no matter what I'm on. I appreciate that. Everybody in chat, thank you again so much. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central. We'll do it all over again. I don't really know what I have in store for you yet, but we'll see. We'll see. So, all right, guys, with that being said, I'm about to end it here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.